I believe I've found the best solution for generator for power backup for my home and probably many homes as well. I'll explain why and how this and the reason for that. I have a previous video where I talk about sizing of generators. I'm going to link that up here if you want to go check that out. And I talk about not oversizing your generator. So a lot of people will go out and they'll buy a big generator. It might be a 9,000, 12,000 watt generator, and they want to run their whole house during a blackout. And honestly, it's not realistic for several reasons that I go into in that video. But really, it's about the amount of fuel they consume and the amount of things that you actually need running during a blackout. I don't need to run the whole house. I don't need to run everything. But I do need certain things: fridge, freezer, internet, my coffee maker, things like that, a couple of small appliances here and there. That's what I look to run. So my solution has been to use a power station, commonly called a solar generator. And I ended up on an EcoFlow Delta 2, and I have the extra smart battery to go with that. Anyway, it's timely because there's a big storm coming in a couple of days, and I'm assuming power is probably going to go for a while. And the EcoFlow handles all the needs that I have in the house quite well. The problem is I can't charge it. So I know a lot of people say, well, use solar panels. That's what they're for. They're solar generators. Yeah, if you've got a lot of sun and if you're in a position to do that. Right now, it's middle of January. Middle of January at my house, I don't get very much sun just because of where it's situated. I'm on the north side of kind of a mountain. And so we're in shadow until, probably late February for a large part. So that's the issue. I can't really realistically do solar very well at my house. So I need a generator to charge up the power station. The last power outage we had, I had the EcoFlow system. It was running well. It came time that, it was running low and I needed to charge up the batteries. And so I figured, well, I have this big generator and I have this small generator. I can do it on there. Not so. These are your traditional generators, traditional style generators, and they put out what's called dirty power. I'm attempting to charge up my EcoFlow Delta 2 and extra battery with, I have a generator. Now the generator isn't running perfectly well. I think it's got old gas in it and a reasonably long extension cord. But it keeps doing this, flicking off and then on, and then the charging speed goes all over the place. I'm not sure why that is. That generator, I've used it, many times without issue. It's run air compressors and everything else. 3,000 watt running watt generator, 4,000 surge. But for some reason I'm having this issue with EcoFlow. If anybody knows exactly what's going on here, see there, right there. If anybody knows what's exactly happening here, I'd appreciate it. We've had a power outage here for since 1:30 last night, and I'm running freezer and fridge off of this right now, and it keeps doing this to me. So if anybody knows, let me know. Thanks. And essentially what that means is there's no clean sine wave. There's a lot of fluctuation in the voltage ups and downs. I'll put a link here about how that works and what that looks like. But so didn't work out very well with the big one. So I thought, well, I'll try the small one, and I can turn down the amount that an EcoFlow will charge at. Normally, if you let it go full tilt, it'll do 1,500 watts charge, and you can charge it pretty quickly. This is obviously not 1,500 watts. I mean, it says 1,500, but it's really 1,200, and it's really not 1,200. You know what I mean? So I turned it down. I had it down as far as 500 watts. It still would not do it because of THD, total harmonic distortion. So that's how the power fluctuates a lot. I looked around for a lot of solutions for this. I looked at possibly you could use like a computer UPS, and you could plug that into your generator, and that would charge the battery and then put out sort of a clean sine wave, but they aren't actually clean sine wave as you'd think. And the cost of them to get something at that rate is prohibitive. That would take that would produce that much power. So I started looking at inverter generators, and they're quite a bit more expensive than your traditional generators, typically. But I found what I think is by far the best deal going on an inverter generator, and that's this guy here. I have yet to start this up. I don't even have oil in it yet, so we're going to do that today. We're going to see how it runs, and we're going to see how it charges in EcoFlow. Hopefully this one will work out for charging the EcoFlow. It should. For reference, the difference between an inverter generator and a traditional generator, like these ones here, the motor spins the windings, and the frequency that they produce and it puts the power directly out to the 120. That's how they work. An inverter generator does similar thing, although it makes three-phase power, AC. But then there's a rectifier that turns that into DC power, direct current. So think of like a battery with a really high voltage. And then there's an inverter attached to that DC, which produces a clean sine wave. That's how they work out. All the electronics are in the front to make all that happen. So the deal I got, and I will link it in the description, on this one here, and the reasons that I chose this one is incredibly, it was less than the smaller suitcase style. You've seen possibly the suitcase style inverter generators. They're great. They're super portable, 30, 40 pounds. You can take them anywhere. They're quiet. They start easy. They sip fuel. They really don't take very much gas. And, that's almost what I went to. The only problem is they're going to produce 1,800 watts, and they might surge to more than that. But 1,800 watts is what they're going to charge. So the only thing I would be able to do with it is charge my EcoFlow. Ultimately, I thought having something with a little bit more power that would be more versatile in case I wanted to, say, run my large air compressor, which you cannot do on a small suitcase inverter generator. They just don't have enough power to kick that over. Or perhaps I want to charge the EcoFlow at the same time I'm running my other appliances. Maybe I want to make a cup of coffee. Maybe I want to do it like in the morning. And just think about your typical power outage in the morning. I go out, battery's low, start the generator to charge up the power station, make some coffee, do some things around the house. And by the time I'm all done, the EcoFlow is charged. I can shut the generator off and let the EcoFlow handle the house for the rest of the day. That's kind of the concept. But I wasn't going to do that if it was going to cost a ridiculous amount of money either. It turned out that this was, right now it was on sale, and this is Canadian. It was on sale for $459. That's an incredible deal. It's hard to buy this size regular standard generator for that kind of money. Typically, the certified Canadian Tire brand version of this goes for, I think it's $5.99, and it comes on sale for $4.99, or sometimes maybe $3.99, not sure. But usually they're $500. So $459, but it's an inverter generator. So that's the big difference. There's a couple of other interesting things about this generator I'm going to point out to you too. I have links in the description if you want to check these out. USA, I believe they are running at $3.99, which is an incredibly good deal as well. So a couple of interesting things about this generator. You can see the front of it there. One of the things it's got is a meter, which is great. So that'll give me the hours that it's run. So it tells me when I need to change oil, things like that. It's got the low oil. It's got, I believe it's got the carbon monoxide detection as well. Never run these, in a space where carbon monoxide is going to be an issue. Got a 12-volt port there on the front, right there. And your typical 120, 20 amp there. But one of the good things about this class, so this is up from the 1800 watt class, is that it has this. So that is a 30 amp, 120 volt outlet. And assuming you have the right cord, and you can see my last video about having the right cord, you can run 30 amps out. So you can run, like I said, I can charge my power station, and I can run fridge and freezer, and I can do a couple of other things at the same time on one cord. This eco thing, I guess we'll find out about, but I guess the speed of the motor will turn down if it doesn't need that much power. Apparently that's how that works. I don't know. I've never run one of these before. The form factor on this generator is different than most that I see. So instead of having that sideways exhaust goes out the side of the front where you put the plugs, the exhaust actually comes out the back. And when you start this, the choke is right there. So you're facing in the front, the choke, and then the other side is the pull cord. So your left hand, I guess, goes and opens the choke, and you turn on your engine switch. Obviously, left hand goes and opens the choke, and the right hand pulls it to start it. The exhaust goes out the back. So it's a little bit different form factor. This is what they call an open frame. So one of the reasons I believe that it's less money is because it's called an open frame generator, as opposed to being all closed up like a suitcase type generator. And I guess the disadvantage would be that this is probably going to be a little bit more noisy than the suitcase ones. It's a little less portable, although it is much lighter than that guy. That one there is over 100 pounds. It's heavy and it's hard to move around. This, I believe, it's under 70. I had no problem moving it around, lifting it up. So that's handy. And it puts out actually a little more power than the other one. This one's rated for 3,600 watts running, and the other one's 3,000 running. So it actually puts out more power, but it's a little lighter, which is the other advantage, I think, of inverter generators. It came with this nice funnel and a spark plug wrench, which I probably will never use. Oil goes in here. This is the other thing. This is easy to check oil on and change oil on, whereas the suitcase style, a little more complicated, taking apart the plastic. Taking apart the plastic case and all that. Everything is right here to work on it and fix. I don't intend on moving this very often, so the portability of the other ones isn't as important to me, but if I did need to move it, it's not that hard. I don't have a small container around here to measure oil with accurately, so what I've done is it takes 1030, and I have this 1030, so I mark the top line of where it is now, and the bottom line is around 600 milliliters. Should be close enough. Oil must be cold. It's not going down very quickly. There we go. I didn't even spill that much. That is perfect. And that's just 1030 oil. Manual. Actually, the manual that came with this is well written. I mean, I'm sure it's a offshore made machine, but the manual is actually impressive in how it was written. I was pretty happy with that. Okay. Now that I've got oil in it and no gas and the fuel is shut off, this is another thing that, actually I'll bring you in for this. Another advantage of this open frame style over the suitcase style is that it actually has a fuel shut off. So when you shut off a generator, the best way to shut it off is to turn off your fuel and let it run out of gas. So that way you don't leave gas in your car, unless you're going to be using it, every day. You can't do that on a suitcase one. And like I said, that's how you drain the oil, is right there. That's where you put your oil in. So it's very easy to maintain. And so assuming it works okay, I think this will work out quite well. I'm just going to spin this over to move some oil. Seems to pull okay. The next thing is to put gas in it. There's a gas gauge on the top, which is nice. Something I haven't seen on my other generators is the vent here on the top. So. Oh, that's handy. That's chained up so I don't lose that. Guess they knew who they were selling it to. You can tell this is mostly an American product because it says 2.7 gallons. I don't know what that is in liters, but as you can see, they're quite easy to move around. Okay, moment of truth. First start. So first thing, turn on the gas. And turn on the engine. Turn off the eco, which is off, because you want that running full speed. I guess when you turn it off, they run full tilt, so the power is always available. And then you turn on the eco, it'll speed down if it doesn't need as much power, I guess. Choke. Okay. Choke out over here. That was quite a snap. Just show you what this does. So that's volts, 125. That's the frequency, 60. That's the runtime. We're at 3 minutes. I don't know what that is. I think I'd probably leave that on runtime. See, it's on hour. Oil's good. No problem here. Just to show you what eco mode does. Right now, there's no load on this generator, so I'm going to turn on eco mode. And it instantly slowed down because it doesn't need that much power. Obviously, because it's not running anything, and a lot quieter this way, and it'll take less gas, presumably. Now, the big question I want to answer: will this charge an EcoFlow? So we're about to find out, and I'm going to leave it on eco mode, by the way. So the answer is yes. So that's going smoothly, 500 watts, which is what I had it set to. So I'm going to see if I can change that. Doing a dance on me. What happens if I turn it off the eco? Nice and stable. This is me turning it off by turning off the fuel. I'm going to let the carburetor run the gas out. It's been running for 15 minutes now. So my final thoughts on this are, I'm quite pleased with it. For 459 bucks to get an inverter generator, there's no reason to buy a traditional generator anymore. I think there's a lot more inverter generators on the market now. And definitely if you're running anything sensitive, any sensitive electronics, and if you think about it, most new appliances, fridges and everything, have electronic circuit boards in them. So there's really, I think you're really taking your chances on the, I didn't know about THD, total harmonic distortion. I didn't know that it would be, because I've run our stuff, you know, fridge and freezer and things like that on regular generators before. And I think typically the inductive load stuff, like stuff with motors and compressors and like fridges and freezers, at least the older style stuff, I don't think there's any issue running on a traditional generator or like air compressor or things like that don't care. But if you do need something that can protect your sensitive electronic stuff, like a power station apparently, which I didn't know, then there's no reason to get a not inverter and get clean power in, and then you don't worry about what you're plugging into it. And like I said, I believe it's $399 US and it's $459 Canadian, so that's a smoking deal. And I'll have the links in the description for you. I'm not sponsored. They didn't send this to me for free. I paid for it, and it was worth every penny to pay for it. So yeah, that's my take. This is the ideal size for me because 3,600 watts is enough to charge power station and run all the other stuff at the same time. Or if I want to run bigger power tools when I'm working on something outside where I don't have power, this is ideal because it's much more portable than the old Camel one. And you saw how easy it started. That was the first time this was ever started. And second pull, it was running. And it wasn't hard to pull either. That was the other thing. Like, it really was an easy pull to get going. So far I'm pleased. We'll see how long it lasts. Thanks for watching, and please hit like and subscribe. I know you're supposed to say that on every YouTube video, but I do appreciate it. So if you could do that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.